welcome into the CHGO White Sox Podcast. Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. What was it?
My name's Herb, not Jesus.
Oh, that's very fair. On Fat Tuesday of all the days. I got to get it out before the Lenten season starts, folks.
Is that what you're giving up? Saying like cursing?
Yes, taking the Lord's name in vain. I will also be gambling during the Lenten season with DraftKings Sportsbook, our official sports betting partner. Download the app today and use code CHGO when you sign up. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to Sean Froelich for understanding. Alongside me is Janice Scurio. Follow her on Twitter at Scuriosa. She's our CHGO White Sox friend. We got Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
In the middle. You can follow him on Twitter at Actonwell23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And the man in the salmon, pink, red, zip up, Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Vinnie has a brand new piece out on all CHGO about Elvis Andrus. Also a brand new one earlier today about Billy Hamilton as well. How you doing, Vinnie?
Doing good. It's not quite as sunny today out here in Arizona. No shades on my face today. They're nearby though, because we are getting some peaks of sun. But for the most part, it's been a cloudy one. I think the weather is the good weather is a little behind us as we barnstorm here toward the end of the week.
Hey, it's 24 degrees here, if that makes you feel any better. You're telling Herb and I on Sunday, when we were telling you it was 50 and sunny and we were taking walks, that you hate when that happens. So, we're miserable here, if that makes you feel any better.
And it might snow tomorrow, too. So
there you go.
We're back.
Excellent. That's good to hear. That means that I'm soaking in the I'll be soaking in the mid-50s here at spring training while you guys are suffering. That does make me feel just wonderful. Wonderful Schadenfreude right there.
And what's up to the chat as well. Good to see everybody. I appreciate Jordan Gilmore setting the bar for 100 likes. So if we don't get to 100 likes, I will be disappointed.
Yes. If we do not get to 100 likes, I will kill myself. Actually, no, I won't. No.
All right, so we'll set the bar on that. If we don't get to 100 likes, Janice won't be here tomorrow, folks. All right, so we'll
you know where to find me.
The chat. This is the first time we've done this in 11 months of the company, and I don't feel guilty.
Pure colorless.
It's been a while.
We've got some new people, pure colorless. My guy Brian, love him. Love the Tainted Glove Network. Had me on the show the other day. It was awesome.
And your friend Connor's rubbing in that it's going to be 80 in D.C. on Thursday. So there you go. Let's get into some stuff that we saw today in practice. I think people enjoyed your Twitter videos from today, Vinny. You're taking in the sights and sounds of camp. We got a new infield drill. Probably not that new to the White Sox. It's an old baseball drill, but people love to see the fundamentals worked. And then some good batting cage stuff. But let's go to the fielding video first, just because people, again, love the fundamentals, and the White Sox had so many problems of calling the ball. So here's Vinny's documentation of the fielding drill. It's the second one, Sarah, just to make sure. Oh, no, not that one. No, the Twitter video. Yeah, you're all good.
That's my bad.
All good. All right. Let me reset this. So it's Gavin Sheets, Andrew Vaughn, Romy Gonzalez, Leary Garcia all doing fly ball work in the infield. Now I feel like payoff might not be as significant.
There it is.
There we go.
But yeah, it was good to see that. To see that they're actually working on the fundamentals out there. I'm sure they do every single year, but something as mundane as this got all White Sox fans giddy. I know I got giddy as hell. People calling off. I got it. I heard Leary calling off loud. Same thing with Gavin Sheets. Right here, listen. Baby. Gavin Sheets. Boisterous. Loud voice.
The front line of injury prevention right there saying, I got it.
Yes. I love communication. And you right here, you're going to hear Leary say it.
Yeah, but it's late.
Go ahead, Leary. Yes.
That's great to see. And also, just... at the end there, Gavin putting up his glove, I totally thought he was going to grab that. The whole he got me, I bet. Yeah,
it's kind of like the whole, it's right here. He's doing this it's not Elvis Andrus, but he will usually be there. But remember the Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre thing where they used to fake each other out and do the glove thing and play with each other that way. And so it's fun. The White Sox are having fundamentals taught early. And like I said, I'm sure they did it with the other team. But there's a reason why Vinny took that picture. There's a reason why White Sox fans are very happy about that. Is because it was lacking. Communication was lacking last year, and it's good to see that. And hopefully it translates into those games where the players are yelling, making sure that they're clear that I got the ball. And it seemed like all the infielders would just go back like you're taught until you hear Larry Garcia or the right fielder call you off. And so it was good to see you, Vinny.
Well, it's no surprise that White Sox fans reacted the way they did, which, of course, was what you guys just alluded to. Oh, my God, where was this last year? They couldn't have done this last year. They're already better than last year. Of course, they did it last year. But the main reason I shot this was because I wanted to get video of Elvis Andrus playing second base. Didn't really work out that too great on that on that shot. Also, part of that drill, Eloy Jimenez in right field. So I want to get some of that as well. Of course, didn't work out that way with where those balls ended up flying. But I can tell you this, we sat there and watched that for a while. Eloy Jimenez, I think, did everything that you'd want a right fielder to do. And there was a great missed opportunity of a shot because he caught one literally right in front of me. Of course, I had already put the phone back in the pocket. So I guess the lesson here is always be rolling. Some new defensive alignments there in terms of Elvis Andrus, obviously moving over from shortstop to second base, and Eloy Jimenez getting some practice in right field, which of course has been a hot button issue all winter.
Yeah, I think Brian aptly calling it the Adam Hazley drill is fair. Eloy in right field is going to give me a heart attack. I don't know about you, Janice.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, to put it lightly. And I am positive there are significantly better options.
Yeah, I mean, if he needs to be in the lineup in right field, I will deal with it for 5-6 times a year. But more than that, man, that's exposing that man to a position he's never played before in the major leagues. Well, he probably played somewhere, but he didn't start at these positions. And a position that's really hard. And so we know that Eloy with communication hasn't been great. Hopefully he's learning this year and getting these drills into him. So if he needs to go out in right field at one of these times, somebody's hurt, somebody needs a blow, Eloy takes right field, I'll feel confident that he can do the job without getting hurt. That's all I care about with Eloy.
Perhaps initiation into White Sox culture, it means that you will play out of position at least once in your career, in your tenure with the White Sox.
Versatility.
There you go. Right, versatility. They're all trying to be Ben Zobrist. Funny though, with the whole talk today is going to be about right field. The video, and you mentioned Eloy playing right field. Gavin Sheets not playing right field. Oscar Colás not playing right field. The two guys we're going to talk about playing right field for the White Sox in 2023. I want to ask this question before we jump into Oscar Colás sound. Oscar Colás spoke to the assembled media down in Arizona, but also Vinny got a one-on-one with Gavin Sheets. We'll bring that to you a little bit later on in the show. So we've had Lucas, Dylan, and Gavin Sheets. Mercy, you're killing it, Vinny. But let's get into the question, and the main question I have for you guys. What's the remaining hole for the White Sox? What's the largest hole with the White Sox remaining after Elvis Andrus has signed? What's next for the White Sox? Vinny, if you want to start it off, is it right field, starting pitching? What's the biggest hole?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? I mean, I think you need to wait to see at this point what the season brings. You can go you can go through the roster and say, point to who you think the worst player is or the worst starting position is, right? And say, oh, well, they could upgrade there. But of course, there's never going to not be an answer, right? There's always going to be a number 9 on the power rankings there. In terms of what the White Sox might do to address anything the rest of the spring, I don't really see anything of significance coming the rest of the way. I think that Elvis Andrus signing yesterday was the one to really cap off their offseason work. Doesn't mean there'll be absolutely nothing. There could still be some depth moves in terms of pitching. We saw, I keep bringing up when they signed Johnny Cueto last spring, or you go back a few springs ago when they're signing other starting pitchers that you've heard of that might not excite you, though, because, it's just a minor league flyer kind of thing. You could see that happening. And then certainly there's this whole mystery of what's going on with Mike Clevenger and what they might need in terms of the starting rotation. That being said, I think right now they have to plan as if he's going to be there, and if he's
remix.
And we lost him.
We lost Vinny for a second, but
and we're down. I don't know. He's
we
still
lost
gone.
him. There, he's back. He's back.
You back, Vinny?
No, now he doesn't even sound.
No.
He looks passionate. You look.
There you are. There
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, we're back now.
Kind of.
We lost him to one of the holes on the White Sox roster.
Yeah, now he's frozen. Oh, now he's shaking his head. Try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now I can.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm getting a ruining the whole situation. It's very upsetting.
I hear you. But to speak to Vinny's point, I think, and everybody in the chat, like Brian S., Tommy, Svo, talking about the fifth starter or the pitching depth, even after the Mike Clevenger sighting, and whatever you think about the Mike Clevenger sighting, they still needed pitching depth. I got it. Davis Martin could fill in. But who else? Like, there's going to be injuries. These guys are a little long in the tooth. We saw Lance Lynn last year get hurt. I mean, we got lucky with Dylan pitching all the games he pitched last year. We saw Lucas get hurt last year. Michael Kopech is going to be rehabbing right now to be on the opening day roster. So they need somebody else, some other people that can actually get you innings. And I know they have bullpen guys that can give you some length, but I would rather have some person that's out there right now, a la Vince Velasquez, to come in and give you quality innings like Vince Velasquez did versus the Angels early in the season. Because you're going to go through, like, the times where you need somebody, especially in April, to get you some innings. And we know that Michael Kopech's not going to pitch in that first series, hopefully in that first and that second series. So you're going to need somebody to step in every once in a while to just give you 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah, Husky Bardo from our Discord had a super chat as well.
Herb, I would say...
Oh, go ahead, Vinny.
I would just say, Herb, that I think that they probably they think they have some of those guys in camp here, and we've heard the names. You know, again, not going to thrill anybody. People might shake their head when you hear this list, but a guy like A.J. Alexi or a guy like, Jesse Schultens and Nate Fisher, these are the guys I think who they think are those depth moves right now. Guys who can go to AAA and start the season at AAA and then be on call should they be needed at the major league level. Everybody keeps bringing up Sean Burke as someone who's probably going to be in that mix as well. So there are some names. It doesn't mean it's enough. It's probably a little bit true when Rick Hahn says that it's never enough when it comes to pitching, right? And so there might be more to come, but I don't know if that necessarily means that, there's going to be this big name and everybody, they announce the signing of this player and everybody goes, oh, thank God they've filled that need. I think it's going to be more guys along the lines of those names I just mentioned that are going to probably end up being like a no reaction from people because they're not supposed to be the kind of players that get a reaction out of people.
I'm going to call him AJ Alexei every time.
Mercy. Absolutely. From the Discord, Husky Bardo has a super chat. We appreciate that $5 super chat. Still feels like this team is missing that long man, Gio Gonzalez, Kopech in 2022, Vinny Velasquez in Kopech in 21, Vince Velasquez in 2022. But yeah, everyone seems to agree starting pitcher depth. And looking at the current free agents, you're right that no name will draw any reaction. Mike Minor, Michael Pineda, Dylan Bundy, Chris Archer, Carlos Martinez, Dallas Keuchel, Mike Fulton-Wise. Keuchel might draw a reaction, but, for different reasons. I think, too, like, you look at the 26-man roster, and Davis Martin, I don't even think currently projects to be on it. The 13 pitchers I had, and I shared this in the Discord earlier, Cease, Lynn, Giolito, Kopech, Nick Avila, and it might be Avila, I'm not sure, Jimmy Lambert, Jose Ruiz, Aaron Bummer, Kendall Graveman, Joe Kelly, Reynaldo Lopez, and Jake Diekman. The other, well, that's the thing. I named 12 pitchers, and that's the thing. It's either Clevenger, and if he's not delayed by the MLB, if the MLB does not find anything, if the MLB does not, hand down any punishment, he seems to be on this roster. If he's not, it seems like Davis Martin would step into that role. So yeah, I think that there is definitely depth needed 100%, but again, I think it is coming within the house. I think AJ Alexei might be that name. There's some non-roster invites as well. You mentioned Jesse Schultens. I think that's the direction.
Yeah, and I mean, don't forget, too, like those 3 guys that we're talking about are not from inside the organization. They went out and got them this offseason. So, yeah, it's not exciting. It's not a, something where you're going to go, okay, need met, you know what I mean? But, hey, you want depth? This is what depth looks like. It's not a big name. It's not an all-star caliber pitcher. It might be, in the best possible circumstance, what happened last year, where it's a guy looking to prove it on a minor league deal like Johnny Cueto did, and boy, did it work out. But for every Johnny Cueto there is where that kind of deal works out, there's an Irvin Santana where it doesn't. And I think that, yeah, there you go. Drink, everybody. I mentioned Irvin Santana. But I think, they can go out and sign somebody like that this spring, but it doesn't mean that person's going to be any better than Jesse Schultens. It doesn't mean that person's going to be any higher on the depth chart than A.J. Alexi. So it really might be this current group of guys that they have that starts as their starting pitching depth. And I would argue that you should keep adding. You can't add enough, right? Go keep throwing things at the wall and see if somebody sticks. But also, there's nothing saying that those guys can't turn into something unexpected. Davis Martin, nobody was talking about him at this time a year ago, and he wound up now being a guy who you're very confident in being your number 6 starter. You know what I mean? If he gets up elevated to number 5 for whatever reason, maybe it's a different feeling. But right now, as the number 6 starter, that's a pretty good one to have after the year that he had last year. Maybe we, 6 months from now, we're talking with similar confidence about somebody else being their number 7 starter. Could be.
Yep, it's February at this point. We're pretty much looking at the TJ Maxx and Nordstrom rack of free agent pitchers. I honestly don't love anyone in particular. Maybe Chris Archer. One of the big issues I had with the Clevenger signing long ago was that I was doubting his innings. I didn't think he would pitch enough innings to be a viable 5th starter. So looking at Archer's numbers, he pitched 102 innings for Minnesota last year. Terrible numbers. Yes. So an improvement? No. If we sign him, is that going to help? No. Is it going to improve anything? Also no. So any options that we see are, I would feel more comfortable going in-house. Davis Martin, I feel as if he has the ability to definitely make a lasting impression on the org.
Yeah, I agree. I think we talked last month about Archer. I like Archer as well. I just think that his slider still has something to it. -9 run value last year. Still features at above 89 miles per hour, which is the most important thing when throwing a breaking ball nowadays. Is just if it's over 85, that's good. If it breaks like Joe Kelly's, that's even better.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people break like Joe Kelly. But yeah, again, Chris Archer isn't going to be a rousing name for any fandom, but again, depth is important. And there's names too, like Edgar Navarro, who's a non-roster invite, Andrew Perez, who's a non-roster invite, Sammy Peralta, who's a non-roster invite, Nicholas Padilla. I know he's more of a bullpen name, but he's going to even be in the World Baseball Classic. So there are some interesting names that people don't know about yet, but I think if they do make an addition, it will probably be starting depth of some sort. I think Archer, Bundy, both make sense, but like you said, Cueto waited a long time until a spot actually opened up, and that could be what Archer or Bundy are waiting for. And if that doesn't happen, then they might be willing to come back to a different lower level of a signing. All right, let's take a quick break here, and then we'll jump into Oscar Colás sound and again Vinny's interview one-on-one with Gavin Sheets. We got to let you know about our good friends over at FOCO. FOCO, you already have the leader in sports. Where I have it, and now it's gone. Oh, and now I need to sign back into my Google. Mercy, stretch. Okay. FOCO is your leader in sports, and I love to remember my password. Do you guys have a password for every single account? Or
I have the same one, so if you hack me, you got everything.
There you go.
I use a password manager.
And you're just going to be practicing me trying to get my money out because I got none.
All right, so use a password manager is, the advice that we learned here.
Yeah.
Chicago, you've already got the best coverage for your favorite
password 1, 2, 3, 4
teams, so get fitted in the best sports gear around. FOCO has you covered from Soldier Field to the front room, north or south side, with hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. Get decked out like DeMar with apparel from the leaders in sports merch and collectibles. FOCO, if you're looking for the perfect gift for the football fan in your life, FOCO's got you covered with hoodies to fight that Lake Michigan breeze. Check out FOCO.com, that's FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. Also, Game Time, our friends over at Game Time. If you're looking to go to a game, whether Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, when the season is down, we recommend using our good friends over at Game Time. Not only do they offer the lowest price guaranteed and up to 110%, it was created by the fans for the fans. They understand how buying tickets could be stressful, expensive. They make it easiest for you, the customer. And if you're looking for something to do tonight, Blackhawks play the Vegas Golden Knights at the UC. Check out the Game Time app. 15 million people who have downloaded the app. If you love CHGO, then you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets to the link in the description. Again, join our 15 million people who download the Game Time app. Score the best seats to all your favorite events.
Is Patty Kane his last game of the UC?
Is it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Ask Jay.
Yeah, but go Game Time. Go and see Patty Kane while you can.
March 3rd.
March 3rd is the trade deadline?
Yeah.
All right, so might as well go and check them out. March 3rd is next week.
They play the Stars on March 2nd at home. So March 4th, they play the Predators. So that would be the last time possible. But he might even get traded before that. Anyways, let's get into some Oscar Colás and Gavin Sheets stuff here. Vinny, you talked with Oscar Colás today in the assembled beat. What you guys are going to see is going to be the beat reporters asking a question, and then Oscar Colás answering the question in Spanish, and then Billy Russo translating it to English. We're going to start off with what Oscar worked on in the 2022 season and how he felt like he improved in Charlotte, Birmingham, and Winston-Salem. Here's Oscar Colás.
How did you react to the news, or when you heard that you would be given the chance to be the starting right fielder on this team? That's a pretty big, nice opportunity.
Sí, no, todo se sabe a través de la prensa y las redes sociales. Y yo supe que más o menos tenía chance, ya que tuve un buen año y trabajé en base a eso, que es lo que yo quería. Venía alrededor de 2 años trabajando en eso en Dominicana y solamente lo puse en práctica aquí.
And I saw that, in the social media and in the news. I knew that I will have a good chance to have this opportunity because I was working for that, and during the time that I was in Dominican Republic, I really put a lot of work to get to this point. And it wasn't a surprise, but I knew this time would come.
Was the working with the coaches during the offseason in Miami had to kind of both clarify what you wanted to work on and what they expected from you this season?
Sí, claro, como todos saben que ellos tienen un equipo de trabajo, ellos tienen o sea, ellos cuando se acaba la temporada tienen todos los reportes de cada pelotero. Ellos buscaron el reporte mío y vieron dónde tenía mis dificultades y fue donde trabajaron ellos en la parte de ser más selectivo en la zona de bateo, o sea, en el buen lanzamiento.
Yes, you know that once the season ended, they all have the reports of how the season went for you and the areas that you need to improve on. And they identified, and I knew it, that I needed to be more selective on the pitches that I wanted to swing. Then we focus on that during this off season. They have a very good team of stuff to do there, and then that helped me, and I think that put me in a better position now.
How would you describe your defense out in the outfield? And you played a lot of center field last year. Do you like right or center better?
Sí, excelente. Ya anteriormente yo he trabajado años en right field, left field. Yo, o sea, he sido mi primer año jugando center field. Y yo pienso que lo hice bastante bien, ya que me enfoqué en base a eso y puse empeño y solamente di lo mejor de mí como pelotero. Pero yo me siento bien en cada posición.
I think my work in the outfield is excellent. Actually last year was my first year that I was playing center field. My experience was more in the corners, and I think I did a pretty good job. I feel very comfortable playing in the outfield and playing in the corners.
Oscar, some of the things your coaches said is being able to cover the inner half of the play and realizing and trusting you to do that kind of opened things up for you last season. Is that part of being selective of trusting what you can do and what parts of the play you can cover?
Claro, me ha enseñado muy importante eso, ya que tiene más seguridad en el cajón de bateo. Eso ayuda mucho con las manos, ya que la mayoría de los bateadores a veces cuando venimos de liga menor de liga inferior, venimos con la mano por fuera y yo te enseño con la mano por dentro de ese bateo.
Yeah, it's very important. That gives you, more certainty, make you feel more secure about your abilities. Because when you are working in the minors, sometimes you start to swing with your hands open, so kind of going around instead of keep your hands closed, get the extra ball. Then that's a big plus, and that's one of the things that I proved last year. It was good. I feel a little more comfortable with that now.
To answer Fred in the comments, Colás will be on opening day, 24 years old and 191 days. Vinny, what do you make of the 24-year-old? He seems very poised.
Well, I would say this, it harkens back to some of the days when, during those rebuilding years when we would talk to Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert and all those other, highly ranked prospects, and they were very, very confident in their ability, right? I mean, they were projecting themselves to be big things. We had Eloy call Luis Robert the next Mike Trout. We had Michael Kopech call Eloy the Babe Ruth of our generation. And here we have Oscar Colás. When you ask him were you surprised to hear that, after 1 year playing in the United States, that you're going to be given the shot to compete for the starting right field job on a major league team? He said, yeah, not really surprised. He knew this day was coming. You ask him how good his defensive ability is in right field, and he says it's excellent. I mean, it really does seem like he's very confident in himself, and that tracks with what we've seen from these other guys when they've come up to the big leagues. So it was very reminiscent of that. We'll have to see, obviously, what the results are on the field, not just in terms of the statistics that you'll see in Cactus League games, because those are, not so important. But, in terms of if he delivers what Pedro and the coaching staff wants to see from him in terms of going and getting the bulk of the playing time out there in right field.
Yeah, and I think confidence is key. We've talked about that a couple times. Like, you got to be confident to play in the major leagues, especially if a guy that's going to be given a shot to win the right field job. I love the answers. I love the confidence of, I can play defense. Come on now. This is easy. 24 years old. He's got the world by his hands, and he won't be 25 until, August?
September 17th.
Oh, man. This man has got everything. I'm very excited. He looks like a tank. Is he filled out as much as I think he is? Because that pitcher, that man looks – yoked up. Let's go, Oscar Colás. He looks. Are you eye to eye with him, Vinny? He's about 6'3".
Yeah, somewhere in there. He wasn't. He wasn't towering over me like Lucas Giolito
you gonna
to do. But
6'1",
he's a big guy.
You gonna challenge him to a weightlifting contest?
I don't think there is one person on this planet I could beat in a weightlifting contest.
Oh, come on. There's one person. There has to be one person.
Certainly there's nobody in that clubhouse. Certainly there's nobody in that clubhouse. We know that.
I would agree.
Well, Bucky LaGrange you can beat in a weightlifting championship.
Walk into any elementary school in the greater Phoenix area, and I'm sure you could.
Who's
I
Bucky
might be able to find
LaGrange?
one.
It's a Family Guy thing. He's the armless second baseman.
Oh.
Check it out, guys. Not right now. Just check it out after the show.
All right. I just found it very interesting. I did feel the poise from Oscar Colás. You even see Svo in the comments saying, why do I feel like Colás is going to rake? I think he's ready for this. I think even in there, I think it was Scott Gregor asking him about, what is the prior experience, do for you? The experience in Japan, the experience in Cuba, like how does that help you? And he's just like, I'm prepared, I think was his words. But I also, too, I just want to stress, in 2018, when he was in Japan, the age differences in the leagues that he was playing, he was 19, 6.5 and 10.2. In 2019, when he was 20, a 4.4 years difference, a 9.6 year difference, and a 7.9 year difference. And then this year in Charlotte, there's a 3-year difference between him and the average age of players. In Birmingham, it's 1.1 years, and in Winston-Salem, it was 0.5. He did best in Birmingham, and that's typically a tough place to hit. I don't think that people should have massively tepid expectations for Oscar Colás. I've bet on him to win American League Rookie of the Year. I think it's very possible that he can come in and be a major league level right fielder. There are holes in his game, like any Major League Baseball player, that could be exposed, but I feel like him having some professional experience already is going to help him, hit the ground running more than Eloy and Luis did when they came up in, early 2020 and 2019.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out, he was pointed out as one of the players with the most to prove in 2023 by MLB.com. So, I feel as if he would probably hit his ceiling if he played at AAA. So 23 home runs, 895 OPS, of course, 2 left-handed power. We love left-handed power around here. And I think also, too, the glove. We definitely cannot forget the glove at all. So, he's absolutely viable on a major league roster. And, Sean, I'm right with you with the Rookie of the Year nod. I feel as if it's possible. He can do it.
Yeah.
I think I used my bonus bet on that. So from DraftKings, yeah. So I can win $400 on Oscar Colás. I'll be having the pom-poms. You know me. I just don't, I've wanted him in the minors, but if he can break through in the spring training and they trust that he can go through the whole year healthy and contributing to this team, let him do his thing. But I don't know if he can make that huge jump.
Yeah, and what he talked about with the training staff, their ability to speak Spanish, there's direct communication is the words Billy Russo used. There isn't a language barrier there, and I think too, like he talked about him becoming a better hitter, and what that I think meant is just he made more contact. Fred saying his BABIP was 378. Again, a high BABIP doesn't mean anything unless like he has a high BABIP also because he hits the ball hard. Tim Anderson and Luis Robert have high BABIPs because they hit the ball hard, Tim just hits a lot of balls.
Yes.
But
he's always had a high BABIP.
Yohan Moncada in 2019 had a 400 BABIP. Obviously, he didn't keep up his exit velocity, he didn't keep up his bat power, and that wasn't sustainable. But like Oscar Colás being 6'2", a tank, that is. But again, he improved his batting average, highest batting average of his career. Obviously, high of his on base percentage that increased 20%, highest slugging percentage. Like he was just an overall better hitter, and it seemed like he made more solid contact than he ever did in his career.
If we get 23 home runs out of Colás next year, I will be very, very happy.
I think they'd be over the moon if they got 20 home runs for Colás.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. A rookie having over 20 home runs. I mean,
that's incredible.
And then I know we're judging it off of last year too. Like, 20 home runs for anybody would be like, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Unless it's Eloy, you got to hit more than that. Right. Your potential's through the roof. 20 home runs would be a disappointment. That to me would mean that he was hurt.
Yeah, and JJ's right. A high BABIP bet is bad when it's like Sebi Zavala. Like that's why I'm like, I don't know if Sebi's going to make the team. Maybe he doesn't. He's out of options. Maybe he doesn't make the team. Perez makes the team. I was looking for what's next for the White Sox. Gary Sanchez is still out there. Maybe he's an option if people are interested. But I was just I think that Oscar Colás, I'm not too worried about him. It seems like he's fit for this entire moment.
I wish I had your confidence and what the White Sox confidence in him, because I could definitely see that if you get Svo is out here. If we get 20 homers from Colás, I'll get a CHGO Sox tattoo.
I'm
holding you to that, Svo. We got to get it. But I just want to know, like, can he beat out Gavin Sheets? Because I would say, like, my thinking about him being down in the minors and, like, forcing this issue, maybe the White Sox are thinking that too. And there's like, Gavin Sheets is a left-handed power bat. I know his defense isn't that great, but also if we give Gavin Sheets a nice amount of time to play, maybe he does hit over 20 home runs, and we can deal with the lack of defense that Gavin Sheets gives you, because the arm is plus. The reading off the bat is a little suspect, but I think if Gavin Sheets hit 25 home runs, you could like, I'll deal with his right field arm and have Colás down there and force the issue to come up here.
Well, and Vinny, I do want to ask you, you brought up yesterday with Liuri and Pedro Grifol talking about the battle in camp for a position and having to, fight with Romy for that spot. Has there been talk about that right field job between Sheets and Colás? Does it seem like it's just Colás? I mean, even the question was asked, like, it seemed like you've been, given a chance to win the starting job in right field. Does it still seem like he's being given a chance, or is it his job?
Yeah, Pedro was asked about that today and made it very clear that, just because you got a chance to win, or every chance, as he put it, during the offseason to win the starting job, doesn't mean you're being crowned the starter, coming into camp. And he's very much adamant that this is a competition for that job in right field. He doesn't think that Colás is coming in with the idea that it's his job. He doesn't think that would be a concern, because of the way that he and his staff are running camp right now. It's very much a competition. And I think that it has to be, right? Because like Herb keeps saying, Colás has impressed in the minor leagues, absolutely. But let's go see. You know what I mean? Let's go see what you can do. And so, listen, the White Sox would not be putting Colás in this position if they were just like, we'll see what he got. Maybe he's got it, maybe he doesn't. They're very confident in his ability to do it. They think he's ready, and so that's why he's in this position. But they also have Gavin Sheets. I mean, that's a second-round draft pick of theirs. I mean, it's not like they're kicking him to the curb or anything like that. I think that both of those guys are going to make this roster probably, but let's see how that playing time gets divvied up, and let's see if it's because one or the other has a gigantic spring and you want to use the tools of the guy that doesn't, or they both hit really well this spring. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of weeks left to go before opening day to determine exactly how they're going to do this. But if you're looking for really the competition in Sox camp, it's that right field one. The only other one is, news to us as of yesterday, because Pedro talked about that utility spot being open for grabs maybe between Leury and Romy Gonzalez. But yeah, I mean, that right field job, whether it's, and again, I think the guys that could all be in that mix are making this team, you know, your Colás, your Sheets. We talked about Aloy playing out there, and then even Leury, who's a guy that can bounce around everywhere, obviously. I think all 4 of those guys probably make this team, but let's see how that playing time gets divvied up.
Yeah, for the projected, my projected 26-man roster, I had Benintendi, Robert, Colás, and then Romy, Leury, Sheets making the team. So, I mean, it doesn't really feel like there's a roster crunch. It feels like kind of the 13 hitters seem like to be the 13 hitters that will be on the opening day roster. We'll talk a little bit more about Gavin Sheets, and you'll talk to Gavin Sheets after the break. We've got to let you know about right field. What was in right field, guys, in 2020. Sarah, you want to play the Goose? It was the Goose Island head. It's a Goose Island read.
I thought you were talking about, Nomar Mazara.
No, it's just the Goose Island read. CHGO is supported by Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer since 1988. Their beer roster, as you can see in front of us, is very, very in-depth. They have the Blackhawks Pale Ale. Hawks playing tonight, folks. The Hawks and Goose Island have been neighbors for 25-plus years. Delicious. Goose has a Goose Pub in the UC. It's been open for almost 10 years, and their tap room is a pregame destination for Hawks fans. We shot our commercial there. A fantastic place to hang out before the Blackhawks game. So go buy your tickets on Game Time and then go hang out at the Goose Island tap room. They also have the Bulls City 312, which if you're a can collector, it's the Bulls City 312 uniforms, just in the the lovely. It's the 312 beer in the lovely can.
Mighty cool.
Yes, and it's the 312 wheat ale in the golden can over there as well. They have the new No Plans Tasty Time Pale Ale in front of us as well. That's the green can. So a lot of great options from Goose Island. You guys got a favorite?
That Tasty Time.
Okay.
That No Plans Tasty Time Pale Ale.
It's tasty.
It is great. I mean, the classic is always.
I was going to say the yellow
classic
can 312. That's
Sarah
always a
was telling
classic.
us that at Kansas they drank 312.
I'm not even kidding. We did all the time. That's how I even knew what that was.
Rich kids at Kansas. I was like, Natty Light wasn't available, but
we used to also buy,
we're going for the best.
We used to buy Don Julio as well for our tequila choice. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't drink tequila.
It's like $55 for a bottle.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I don't know. We like what we like.
Look at the kids at Kansas drinking that high profile stuff.
Because we have the cloud of the championship. Anyways.
They also have the Beer Hug IPA series. And make sure, again, to check out their 2 locations. They're open and ready to welcome you. Grab a beer from their innovative tanks at the Goose Island Tap Room at 1800 West Fulton, or get a smash burger and a fresh beer of the week at the original Clybourne Brew House at 1800 North Clybourne. For reservations and pickup, go to gooseisland.com/locations. Goose Island Beer Company. Thank you. Very much appreciated for that one. Let's get into your one-on-one with Gavin Sheets here. I really thought, it's been fun to see all these one-on-ones with Lucas, Dylan, Gavin, talking about his, all right.
Opa.
Vinny, do you want to set this up at all before we get into it? I'm sorry.
You guys, you got something going on there today.
No, I'm saying the podcast,
it's not.
The people in the podcast don't know what happened. It's, Sean's
No, they do.
foot.
They're still live.
No, but the live show do. But if somebody's listening tomorrow, like, what the hell just happened? These guys are goofy. We just
White
knocked
Sox,
the book over.
Yeah, the encyclopedia or whatever the hell that is. Like, it was so excited about Vinny talking to Gavin Sheets that it just fell over.
Go ahead,
We
Vinny.
miss you, Vinny. Why don't we just hear from you and Gavin Sheets, and then we'll hear from you after. Here's Vinny talking to Gavin Sheets in Arizona.
Gavin Sheets, White Sox slugger. How have the first few days of spring training gone for you?
It's been great. It's great to be back. It's great to have a new energy here, new coaching staff. They've been great, and just kind of a new energy and complete. So clubhouse is fun. We're having a lot of fun with it. We're working really hard. We're excited.
Energy, fun, these are things that we didn't hear a lot of last year, obviously mostly because of the results on the field. Yeah. Have you noticed a big difference in the vibe and the mood from what was going on during the season last year to what you guys have shown up here with this year?
Definitely. I think, guys are excited to be back and have a clean slate. All last year we were talking about negative stuff and, trying to find a spark and trying to force things that just weren't happening. And now we get a chance to rewrite the script and attack it from day one, and that's what we're out here to do.
You brought up the new manager, the new staff. What has Pedro been like? What has he been like to you guys, in the clubhouse with his messaging, that kind of thing?
He's been great. Great communicator. He's here to work. He saw he was in Kansas City, so he saw us up close and personal last year. He knew some things that he had to change, and he's here to work and he's here to have fun and win some ball games.
Did he communicate with you guys during the offseason?
He did. He was great. He called us, gave us a bunch of calls, and asked us what we expected from him and what he expected from us. And so it's great to have that communication before anything gets going. And so I've enjoyed being here with him and got here a little early to get acclimated to the staff as well, and it's been awesome.
Speaking of the offseason, how'd it go for you? What were you working on?
A lot. Trying to build off of the second half. Trying to get better in the outfield. I thought I made some really big strides from April to September last year. I read all the stuff, I see all the stuff, and I know I got to get better out there, and I think I did by the end of the year. And I'm going to continue to get better out there, and wherever they need me to play, I just want to be in the lineup. And that's my end of the day. That's my goal. Be a left-handed bat that I know can help this team out with, and be a part of this offense.
Where is that defense right now, would you say?
In terms of position?
No, in terms of your ability out there in right field.
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
A lot more confident. I think in April and May, I wasn't confident on my reads. I wasn't confident on my first step. And as soon as you lose that, you lose jumps on the ball. And by the end of the year, had better first steps, was more confident getting to the wall, coming in. And so it's getting a lot better, which I'm excited about.
You've been to spring training before and fought for a roster spot before. What sort of mentality do you need when you're going in looking to win a job or win a spot on the team?
It's two things. One, it's getting ready to play the season. You can't come in and try to expect things right away. You can't force things right away. But at the same time, it's coming in and proving yourself. I know what I can do. This team knows what I can do when I'm going well, and continue to show that and get ready to have a successful season.
What do you look at when you look around this clubhouse and look at these guys? And, it's mostly the same group from last year. What do you look at in terms of what this team can do in 2023?
This is a team that was projected to win the World Series last year. And a lot of the same pieces. We lost some guys. We lost Pito, which is, I obviously miss him. But we still got a lot of really good talent in here. And I think people forget that. And, if we keep our health and everybody plays, a lot of guys have a chip on their shoulder. Not many guys had the season they wanted to have last year. And when you put a lot of talent with that kind of mentality, it can be exciting.
You're walking around here with Andrew Vaughn quite a bit. What is he like kind of off the field?
Exactly what you'd expect. He just loves to fish. He lives on a lake out here, so as soon as we leave the field, he goes to fishing, and just a real laid-back guy, but we obviously have a great relationship, and we've come up together and been in the big leagues the first 2 years together, and just feed off each other, just build off each other, and pick each other's brain, and just enjoy these times.
Has he ever brought back a fish that he's caught?
No, he throws them right back in, but I certainly get pictures. Whenever we catch one, we'll FaceTime each other to show, compare, and no, we have fun with that, yeah.
What is kind of coming for him this year, do you think? Obviously, he's going to get to move back to a position that he's been playing for his whole life. What do you kind of see from him?
I expect a big year from him. He's got all the tools. He's going to put together another really good year. I think he's going to finish a little bit stronger than he did last year, and I think he's going to get it going the whole way. And I'm excited to see what he's got this year because unbelievable hitter, and I expect big things from him.
Got a couple of new faces here. Andrew Benintendi, obviously a big signing this offseason. Have you been able to chat with him?
He's awesome. He's been a fun to be around, and obviously pick his brain because he's unbelievable outfielder, Gold Glover, and just a great player all around. But awesome clubhouse guy, and he's already bringing in some energy, and he's just having a lot of fun here. So happy to have him. I think he's going to be a huge asset for us because he's a tremendous player. So I'm excited to have him here.
What about a young guy that's kind of out there in the outfield, Oscar Colás? Mm-hmm. You walk in and you see him for the first time, and he's built.
He's big. He's big. I've never seen him play, to be honest with you. I've obviously heard great things about him, and really well put together, as you said. So I expect big things from him as well. And it's fun to have talent like that's up and coming, and just part of this team that's going to be a lot of talent.
Obviously, you probably are very happy you don't have to face your pitching staff during the regular season, but here at spring training, you see him in batting practice. What's it like going against some of these arms that you guys got?
I got to get Lopi yesterday, so he's nasty, man. It's fun to see guys like that and see what they're like up close and personal. And obviously I see it from the outfield last year, but some of these guys that we got, Jimmy Lambert's throwing the ball unbelievably well right now, and I haven't gotten to face Cease yet, but I'm looking forward to that matchup because I want to see that slider and the fastball combination. So we got a great staff, and they held it together for us last year, and I expect big things again from them as well.
Pedro and a lot of the guys have been talking about you can come in here and think that you guys are going to win the World Series, but you gotta start somewhere else, right? And can you kind of convey what you think that message has been from him in terms of, he said, I think yesterday, you can't win a championship in the spring.
But you can lose it.
Yeah, there you go. You know the line already.
Yeah, and I think that's perfectly said. We can come in here and we can, obviously can't win a World Series right now, but, if you come in and you're lackluster and you have no effort and energy, you can lose it early. And we haven't been like that. We've a lot of work, a lot of intensity from top to bottom, and I think that's going to be the new motto around here all year.
Lastly, you're obviously, we talked about it already, fighting for a spot or a job here. What do you expect from yourself this spring? How do you see this spring playing out for you?
Expect a big year. I'm excited. I'm confident, and wherever I play, I don't really care. But I want to be a part of that lineup because I think I can have a good year. I think I can put together some pretty good numbers, and I want to be a threat in this lineup. And I know what we can do, and I know what I can do when I'm going well. So I'm ready to roll.
And what if Pedro and the staff talk to you personally about that, about what kind of spring they're expecting from you?
Yeah, it's been, I'm working at first and outfield, and wherever it's kind of been any way we can get the bat in the lineup, and so that's my mentality. I'm going to be as good at first baseman, as good as right fielder, as good as DH as possible, whatever it's going to take. I'm going to get the reps in everywhere and make it hard on them to not put me in the lineup.
Bless his heart.
Hell yeah, Gavin. That was good stuff from Gavin Sheets. Great job, Vinny. Let's start off with the first thing you talked about, work. Seems like, you touched upon that later in the interview, but also early on. Seems like Pedro Grifol is working these guys. I don't want to put that in a weird way. I think most people assume that when they showed up last year, they were also working, but maybe define that work. How have the White Sox said, the work from last year was different to this year?
Well, again, this is not to disparage anything that might or might not have been happening a year ago or even in years before that, right? But I think the compliments that everybody's giving to Pedro Grifol is energy. I think he established before camp even started that he wanted to pick up the pace of things, and I think that they're really going, boom, boom, boom. There's not a lot of standing around, and I think that is something very good. And then the second thing is organization. It seems that he has just planned everything out, and him and his staff, I should say, have planned everything out just to the minute, to the letter. And everywhere you look, there's something going on, and that's usually the case. But you've got 4 fields going at once out in the back. You got guys doing sliding drills somewhere else. They're taking fly balls here. They're doing batting practice there. The pitchers are all doing their own thing. I mean, literally every day before full squad started, you had Pedro Grifol talking about how pleased he was with the pitchers' fielding drills and all this. So, I think it's really just something where, he's a baseball guy, as they say, and he's just eating, drinking, breathing, sleeping baseball, and making sure that every last detail is planned here. We've talked about a little bit how serious he's taken things. That's very evident when he talks, when he speaks. He's not one to joke around too often. So I think he's really brought in. Obviously he was going to bring in a different mindset. I think what he's experienced so far is that he's had a lot of success at putting his plan into action here, with the players really kind of following what he wants them to do.
Vinny, I've been very impressed with Gavin Sheets just by his attitude since he got here. Even before he got here, he was an all-time first baseman in the minor leagues, and then he saw there was no path to really be a first baseman for the White Sox. Pito was there before, and now Andrew Vaughn's there. He's just doing whatever it takes to get on the field and contribute to the team. As a player of nowadays, it's refreshing to see he has the right attitude. Just, hey, I'm just trying to get into the lineup, and it's refreshing to see the man just do whatever it needs to be done for this team to get it done. And so I'm rooting for the kid. I hope he does have a good showing this spring training and beats out Oscar Colás. And, my plan, that'll be great, because then that means that Gavin Sheets is doing well on the field and he holds off Oscar Colás at least for one more year, because I'm rooting for the kid because he seems like a genuinely nice guy. And do you know if he got a little bigger? Our girl Melissa asked, did he get jacked in the offseason?
Gavin's always been a big guy. He's obviously tall, and so, to have that body, I mean, he looks like a power hitter out there. There's no doubt about that. I think that's been the case in years past, too. I am not allowed in when they weigh the guys at the start of camp So that would take some digging and perhaps some HIPAA violations in order to find out exactly what the weight number is there. But no, I mean, like I said, he looks like a power hitter. We both commented on what Oscar Colás looks like, in person. Certainly that can apply to Gavin as well.
Do we have a height on Andrew Vaughn yet?
What does it say on the thing?
Well, we're talking about medicals.
You want me to hold a yardstick up to the guy? Come on.
You could.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have a yardstick
I think that's
handy.
what we want. just bring a tape measure and just be like, hey, could you stand still for a moment and then just pull it out.
You're just
you're working on it.
It's bordering on rude at this point because come on, now you're just making fun of the guy for being short.
Well, I don't know. I'm not making fun of him. I don't know how tall he is. I just want to know how tall he is.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Nothing wrong with being short.
No, I'm short. No, very short. Anyways, let's the Gavin stuff that I also thought was interesting as well. His talk about being comfortable in the outfield, and I think it was Beefloaf, the 108 season ticket holders watching in right field. One of them said the eye test for Gavin looked better. I think this was in June, July, or August. So I mean, even him saying it, him feeling more confident. I think people were watching him and watching him closely. It kind of showed. So I mean, maybe he is poised to play right field. It sounds like he's a little bit more confident for the moment. No.
Well, I mean, listen. I'll say this: when a guy is not successful at something, I think people automatically think they're not trying, right? And what is very much the opposite is the case with these White Sox players. Listen, we all know the numbers from Gavin Sheets and especially Andrew Vaughn in the outfield last year, but these guys never stopped playing, taking drills and taking fly balls on a daily basis. And certainly Gavin, when he sees that as his maybe long-term path to having a spot on this team, he takes it seriously, and I think they all do. Aloy is another example. Just because Aloy has this history of defensive misadventures, as I like to say, in the outfield, doesn't mean that he's thrown in the towel and been like, well, that's what you're getting, or nothing. I mean, he's working all the time. Gavin maybe might be more successful in working on it than some of these other guys. So he absolutely is practicing that. Sounds like he spent the offseason practicing that. And listen, it really seemed to click in general in a lot of facets of his game after he went down to the minors last year and then came back to the big leagues. So certainly, whether that's offense or defense, I think that you can expect him to be serviceable out there in right field. And if he is the guy who ends up taking the bulk of that playing time, is he going to be as good as Colás defensively? Probably not. Colás is, by all accounts, very good defensively. Maybe Gavin can never get to the point of being very good, but he can be at a point where he's not hurting the team and he's allowing his bat to be extremely helpful, just being in the lineup.
Where do we feel like the competition currently stands? So we got about 5 minutes left. Colás, Sheets, is there a leader in the clubhouse? Gavin's prior experience, does that help him? How do you feel?
I think you don't say what the White Sox have said about Oscar Colás unless you're giving him the leg up. Like, he probably has the leg up on the competition. And only if he falls flat in spring training and throughout the drills in camp will he be sent down and Gavin Sheets will win the job. That's why I said, like, Gavin Sheets has a pretty much an impossible thing where he's only going to get that right field job because other people failed. Like Oscar Colás failed and or he's injured. So I think they're going to give Oscar Colás every chance to win this job. And they should, because the potential and the ceiling is higher than what Gavin Sheets is. And as we said, even if he doesn't produce with the bat, the defense is still going to play. And that's what the White Sox need.
One thing I want to point out, in that interview, Sheets basically said, hey, first base, right field, DH, wherever they need me, put me there. So while I think that is a testament to his own ability, I feel as if that's also him recognizing that there is competition for those positions. So in right field, I believe that Colás does have the edge. Colás is probably better defensively. The bat, we have yet to see that. For the most part, I feel as if he does have the edge.
Vinny, where do you feel like it stands? I know obviously spring training games are still left to play. 4 more days until spring training starts. That's real close and exciting. Is it just based on how these guys perform? Will both of these guys seemingly make the roster? And could this just be a battle we see play out, at bat, game to game, series for series in the 23 season?
It's possible, and I'll remind you, Sean, once again, that spring training has already started. You're just talking about Cactus League play, of course. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that Colás has the edge if you got to pick one guy, and there's nothing saying that they got to pick one guy. Remember, this could be a timeshare thing, and I think there might be something pointing to that working out that way if they are both successful in spring training. That being said, Herb, your point was exactly right. You don't talk up Colás like this all offseason if you're not ready to send him out there to try and win a job. Doesn't mean he's going to win it, but I think they're ready for him to win it and ready for the situation where they're starting a rookie in right field in a season where they want to win the World Series. So, again, we talk about these things in absolutes. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? I think there's a world in which they just both make the team and both play out there a good deal. But if you are going to pick that one winner, if there is going to be a winner right now, Colás would, I think, be the favorite. That being said, it comes with a condition, right? It comes with a condition of him proving it in spring training. And here we are in spring training. He's only been here 2 days, so he's got an awful lot of time, prove it, left to do.
Yes, he does. I feel Sean and Vinny beef. We have no beef. What's going on?
Vienna
Vinny,
beef,
I love you, and it's
What's
great
your
to see you
beef?
talk to you.
Wellington.
Hey. We need the clown Murph noise. It's kind of like the goose. You can play the goose. I'll be happy with the goose. It's a little more clownish. But yeah, I think I feel pretty good about Oscar Colás coming up. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be an interesting battle. It could be great if both of them are good. I think the White Sox would be happy if both Gavin Sheets and Oscar Colás were good. We could have a good problem on the south side, and that'd be great. I wouldn't be too mad at that. And the thing too, Gavin still has some minor league options. So, and obviously Colás does too. He's not even on the 40-man roster. So if they change their mind, they can. So I think this is a good option or a good problem to have. Like, I think truly, again, going back to the earlier conversation, the biggest hole is probably starting pitcher still, or starting pitching depth at this point.
Yeah, it's good problems, as you said, and steel sharpens steel, or iron sharpens iron. So hopefully, like you just said, they just keep on making each other better. And because I can't lose this job. Colás just hit that home run. I got to go up there and hit a home run now. Just keep on going up levels, and hopefully have a good 20 home run from Oscar Colás, about 10, 15 for Gavin Sheets, and we're cooking with gas.
Could you
in
imagine?
Right field? Like somebody was asking, like, did they even hit 20 home runs total from 20 to 22? And I don't know. Did the White Sox as a right field hit 20 to 20 home runs? I know 20, they only hit one. It's been
a while.
And that's your man, Nomar Mazara. Then they brought back Adam Eaton, and he doesn't hit a lot of home runs. And then last year, it was a cornucopia of right fielders with Andrew Vaughn, Gavin Sheets, and also sometimes A.J. Pollock. But, yeah.
Herb, you might forget that there was a point early in 2021 where Adam Eaton was leading the White Sox in home runs.
Yeah, that was like for a week.
What happened?
I remember that.
It was like 7 home runs. What did he hit? Like all of them in April, and then it's like, I'm good. And they DFA'd him like in June.
And they were all clutch, too. Like, he killed it. Like, he was just like their best player for like the first 15 games. That was a gross memory. Thanks for reminding me. Anyways, let's go just wrap it up. Any final thoughts, Janice? You good?
Yeah, I think we've been talking a lot lately about how so-and-so is going to hit 20 home runs. This person's going to hit 20 home runs. Given last season, I think if anyone hit at least 20 home runs, I would be incredibly happy.
Well, I don't know why. It says Fangraphs, according to Fangraphs, 2021 they had 24 home runs and then 34 home runs in 2022. So is right field
at right field?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they counting all Andrew Vaughn?
Maybe all the home runs hit by people who actually played right field. Maybe not at the time they're playing right field, they hit those home runs. But it's been a problem for the White Sox for a long time. Finally, I think they've solved their problem with either Colás or Sheets. That's a good thing to have. And then once Colston Montgomery proves his wares, he'll either be at shortstop or second base. I think then we'll have a complete team with a team that is pretty much of Rick Hahn's choosing, too. And everybody's looking forward, too. Then you're going to lose Tim the year after that.
Maybe. We'll see. That's a different podcast, but we're at 5 p.m. It's been an hour. Why don't we wrap this up? Thank you to Janice Scurio for joining us. Again, you can follow her on Twitter at Scuriosa. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at ActonWorld23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, and you can check out his work at allchgo.com. He is our CHGO White Sox beat writer.
Killing it down there in Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic work.
Lucas Giolito and Dylan Cease are currently up on our YouTube channel. His one-on-one interviews with them down in Camelback Ranch. We'll post the Gavin Sheets one as well, and 2 posts on All CHGO from the past day. If you want to learn more about Elvis Andrus coming to play second base, Vinny has you covered at All CHGO, and Billy the Hitter is back in Camelback Ranch. So check that out, and Billy Hamilton's excitement to be back on the South Side. I know most fans are excited to see him as well. So check out Vinny's work at allchgo.com. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. We didn't reach our goal of 100 likes, but we're at 48. So if there's 2 more, we're at 49. If there's 1 more person out there and we can reach half our goal, I'll be half happy. I guess I'll be okay. I'll be neutral today.
And Janice will be here tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We've got another day of Janice, at least.
We'll talk her
Michael
out of it.
Patrick Porkins winning baby of the year.
Oh.
There we go. We're at 51.
There you go. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and go Sox.